she to be buried in Christian burial that willfully seeks her own salvation?
I tell thee she is, and therefore make her grave straight. The coroner hath set on her in fine Christian burial.
How can that be unless she drowned herself in her own defense?
Why, 'tis found so.
It must be offendendo. It cannot be else. For here lies the point. If I drown myself wittingly, it argues an act. An act hath three branches. It is to act, to do, to perform. Argal, she drowned herself wittingly.
Nay, but here you, good man, deliver.
Give me leave. Here lies the water. Good here stands the man good. If the man go to this water and drown himself, it is. Will he, nil he goes. Mark you that. But if the water come to him and drown him, he drowns not himself. Argal, that is not guilty of his own death, shortens not his own life.
But is this law?
Aye, Mary ist Crowner's quest law.
Will you be hath the truth on it? If this had been a good woman, she should have been buried out of Christian burial.
Why there thou sayest, and the more pity that great to folk should have countenance in his world to drown or hang themselves, more than they're even Christian. Come, my spade. There is no ancient gentleman, but gardeners, ditchers, and grave makers. They hold up Adam's profession.
Was he a gentleman?
He was, the first that ever bore arms.
Why, he had none.
What art a heathen? How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says, Adam digged. Could he dig without arms? I'll put another questions to thee. If thou answerest me not, to the purpose profess them thyself.
Go to.
What is he that builds stronger than either the mason, the shipwrighter, or the carpenter?
The gallows maker, for the frame outlives 1,000 tenants.
I like thy wit. Well, in good faith, the gallows does well. But how does it well? It does well to those that do it. But now thou dost, I'll say, to the gallows is built stronger than the church. Argal, the gallows may do well to thee. Toots again come.
Who built stronger than a mason, a shipwrighter or a carpenter?
Aye, tell me that. And unyoke.
Mary, I cannot tell.
Toots.
Mass, I cannot tell.
Cudgel thy brains no more about it, for your dull ass will not mend in his pace with beating, and when you are asked this question, say a grave maker, the house that makes last till doomsday. Get thee to your hand. Fetch me a stoup of liquor. In youth when I did love, methought it was very sweet to contract the time for my beho, love. Oh, methought there was nothing meet.
This fellow no feeling of his business, that he seems at grave making.
Custom hath made it in him a property of easiness.
'Tis even so, the hand of little employment hath a daintier sense.
But age with the stealing steps hath clawed me in his clutch, and hath shipped me into the land as if it never been such.
That skull had a tongue in it, and could sing once, how this knave jewels it to the ground as if it was Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. It might be the pate of a politician, one that which this ass now o'erreaches, one that would circumvent God, might it not?
It might, my lord.
Why ain't so? My lady warms chaplets and knocked about the master with the sexton spade. Here's fine revolution, and we had the trick to see it. Did these bones cost no more the breeding, but to play at loggets with them? Mine ain't to think on it.
A pickaxe and a spade for a shrouding sheet. O pit of clay for to be made for such a guest as meet.
How this knave jewels it to the ground as if it were Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. It might be the pate of a politician, which this ass now overreaches, one that would circumvent God, might it not?
It might, my lord.
Or it could be of a courtier, which could say, Good morrow, sweet lord. How dost thou, good lord? This might be my lord, such a one, that praised my lord such a one's horse when he meant to beg to it, might it not?
Aye, my lord.
Why, e'en so, my lady warms chaplets and knocked about the master with a sexton spade. Here's fine revolution, and we have the trick to see it. And did these bones cost no more the breeding but to play at loggets with them? Mine ache to think on it.
A pickaxe, a spade for a shouting sheet. O pit of clay for to be made for such a guest as meet.
There's another. Why shall that not be of a lawyer? Where be his quiddities now, his quillets, his cases, his tenures, and his tricks? Why shall he suffer this rude knave to knock him about the sconce with a dirty shovel, and not tell him of his action of battery? This fellow in his time might be a great buyer of land, with his statutes, his reckonances, his fines, his double vouchers, and his recoveries. Is the fine of his fines, the recovery of his recoveries, to have his fine pate filled with fine dirt? Will his vouchers vouch no more of his purchases, and double ones too, than the length and breadth of a pair of indentures? The very conveyances of this land will hardly lie in this box, and will the inheritor have no more?
Not a jot more, my lord.
Is not parchment made of sheepskin?
Aye, my lord, and calf skins too.
Sheeps and calves to seek assurance in that. I'll speak to this fellow. Whose grave's this, Sirrah?
Mine, sir. O pit of clay for to be made for such a guest as meet.
I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in it.
You lie out on, sir, and therefore it is not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, and yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie, because to be in it and to say it is thine, 'tis for the dead, not for the quick, so therefore thou liest.
'Tis a quick lie, sir. 'Twill away gain from me to you.
What man is to be buried there?
No man, sir.
What woman then?
For none neither.
Who is to be buried in it?
That one was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolutely need this? We must speak by the equivocation will undo us. By the Lord, Horatio, I've taken note of these 3 years. The age has grown so thick that the toe of the peasant comes so near the heel of the courtier, he gasps his kibe. How long hast thou been a gravedigger?
Of all the days, aye, the year, I came to that day that our last king Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Cannot you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was the very day that young Hamlet was born. He that is mad and sent into England.
Aye, Mary. Why was he sent into England?
Why, because he was mad. He shall recover his wits there, or if he does not, it's no great matter there.
Why?
'Twill not be seen in him there. Their men are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Faith and with losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, here in Denmark. I have been sexton here, man and boy, 30 years.
How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot?
I faith if he be not rotten before he die, as we have many pocky courses nowadays that will scarce hold the lying in. He will last you some 8 year or 9 year. A tanner will last you 9 year.
Why he more than another?
Why, sir, is so tanned with his trade, but that he will keep out water a great while, and your water is a sore decayer of your whoresome dead body. Here's a skull now. This skull has lain in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
A whoresome mad fellow's it was. Whose do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
A pestilence on him for a mad rogue, a flagon of Rhenish on my head once. This same skull, sir, was Yorick's skull, the king jester.
This?
And that.
Let me see. Alas, poor York. I knew him well, Horatio. A man of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times, and now how bored it in my imagination it is. Here hung those lips that I have kissed, I know not how oft. Not one now to mock your own grinning. Quite chapfallen. Now, get thee to my lady's chamber. And tell her to paint an inch thick. To this favor she must come, and make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander looked in this fashion all the earth?
And so.
And smell so? Ha!
And so, my lord.
To what base uses of imagination we must return, Horatio? Why must imagination not trace back? No, why may not imagination trace back the noble dust of Alexander till he find it stopping a bunghole.
'Twere to consider too curiously.
No, Faith, not a jot. But to follow him thither with modesty enough, and likelihood to lead it as thus: Alexander died, Alexander was buried, Alexander returned to dust. The dust is earth, of earth we make a loam, and why of that loam, whereto he was converted, might they not find it? Why may that they not find it stopping a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that earth, which kept the world in awe, should patch a wall to expel the winter's flaw. But soft, aside, here comes the king. The queens, the courtiers, who is this they follow? Oh, this doth betoken the course they follow, with desperate hand forego its own life. Alright, couch we a while and mark.
What ceremony else?
That is literature, very noble youth, Mark.
Her exquisities have been far enlarged. As we warranty, her death was doubtful. And but that great command o'er sways, the order, she should in ground unsanctified been lodged, till last trumpet. For charitable prayers, shards, flints, and pebbles should be thrown on her. And yet she is allowed her virgin krantz, her maid instruments, and the bringing home of bell and bury. We should profane. Oh wait, no more be done. We should profane the service of the dead, to sing a requiem for such rest to her as peace-parted souls.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I shall be churlish priest. A ministering angel my sister shall be, while thou liest howling. Fair Ophelia?
Sweets to sweets, farewell. I hope thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed to have decked, sweet maid, and not have strewed thy grave.
I'll trouble woe, fall 10 times trouble upon that cursed head, whose most wicked deed is thy most ingenious sense. Deprive of thee. Hold on. Till I have caught her once more in mine arms. Now quick, bury your dust upon the quickened dead, till of this flat a mountain you are made. To our old Opeliana, the sky shed of blue.
What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis, whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars and makes them stand like wander-wounded hares? This is I, Hamlet the Dane.
Take thy soul.
Thou prayest not well. I prithee, take thy fingers from my throat. For yet I am not, though I'm not splendid and rash, I have in me something dangerous, which let thy wiseness fear. Hold off thy hand.
Put them asunder.
Hamlet, Hamlet!
Gentlemen, let my lord be quiet.
Why, I will fight with him upon this theme until my eyelids no longer wag.
Oh, my son, what theme?
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quantity of sum, with all their quantities of love, make up my sum. What wilt thou do?
Oh, he's a mad Laertes.
Oh, forbear him.
Swoons, tell me what thou do. Woot weep, woot fight, woot fast, woot tear up thyself, woot drink up Azel, eat a crocodile? I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine, to outface me for leaping in her grave? Be buried quick with her, and so will I. And if thou prates of mountains, let them throw millions of acres on us until our ground, singeing the paint across the burning zone, make also like a wart. Nay, thou mouth, and I'll rant as well as thou.
This is mere madness. In the while, the fit will work on him in as patient as a female dove. When that her golden couplets are disclosed, his silence will sit drooping.
No, hear you, sir. What is the reason you use me as thus? I loved you ever, but it is no matter. Let Hercules himself do as he may, and the cat will mew, and the dog will have his day.
I pray you, good Horatio, wait upon him. Horatio, strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to the present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch over your son. This grave shall be a living monument. An hour of silence shall we see. Till then, our patience proceeding be.
Rest in peace. You? I got 5 seconds.
He was laughing.
You know what? Y'all are complicated. God. It's not that hard. I'm sorry, Tree. This time I'm ready.
Why? Hey.
Okay. Oh my god.
You stopped eating.
No, but there's a grave right here.
That willfully. Okay, can you not? Because I need to stay focused. You have to wait till it gets closer.
Wait, you threw up the school? Wait, what?
I threw up the skull.
That was so pathetic.
Okay. Has the earth. Are you getting her in it?
No, I'm not.
Boy!